Hi, Dr. Word. I mean, Sushumna Papa. Do you want to talk about your text and give us a little background on your text, and then we'll go into it?
Well, I got inspired for some weird reason. I just did a quiz for everybody.
Oh, that's cruel and unusual punishment.
I know, it's horrible. Let's see what we retained from last term.
It's a law in the United States against cruel and unusual punishment in the law.
It's in the
Like you can't cut fingers off and stuff. Yeah.
I think that only relates to government not being able to do cruel and unusual punishment, not
So we
to
can cut
Shishuna
fingers
Papa.
off.
Not citizens. Okay, here we go. I thought this would be the.
Oh man, this is an impossible question.
We didn't cover that much in our last class. Whose two bodies is Arya Sangha counterposing in this rather massive quote we are in? How is it indicated in the naming of the I should put these, not of these bodies, that one is better than the other? What book is that quote from?
Wow.
The bodies of the Buddha.
That's one of the bodies, but which body, Nick?
Oh, I don't know. I don't remember.
It's all about unchanging. Remember, we were like developables, and so what's the unchanging body of the Buddha?
It's Bhavakaya or the Dharmakaya.
Dharmakaya. Yeah. And in Tibetan, what's that, Nick?
Chiku.
Yeah, good. Okay, that's half of that. And then what's the other body? Anybody?
Nirmanakaya?
No, it's a little different. I don't know if I've ever seen the term exactly before, actually. It's important for this part of the text. Anyone else can call out random answers if they want.
The developable kaya.
No, it's like the like Hinayana version of Buddhahood body or something.
Nirvanakaya?
Basically liberation body or freedom body.
Okay.
Yeah. And then okay, and why is one better? Why is one better than the other one?
Well, they're both great.
I would take either.
Yeah.
I think the liberation body is for an arhat, right? Lower arhat, maybe?
It is, and he calls it I'll give it away because no one knows. It's okay. Nampar Julwe Lu, and then he.
Oh, I was gonna say that.
Oh, were you? Shut up. Oh wait. Well, why Lu and not Ku?
Oh,
Because they're not a Buddha. It's not on
right.
Earth.
Yeah, it's not as cool. It's just an arhat, buddy. Okay, and then what book is this from? It's pretty easy to guess.
Tekchen de Pa.
Yeah, there's like
And,
exactly. There's like 17 ways that Jason Kappa calls it, but Tek Du or Tek Chen Boi Du Bar blah blah.
Summary of the Greater Way.
Yeah, exactly. All right, good. Okay. What is it that resonates with the truth and liberation, I guess, bodies, and allows them to be developed? Yes, are you in space right now? You look like you're in outer space.
yeah, it's a Gengir Kirik, right? Gengir Kirik, but I don't know. Gengir Kirik, I guess.
It's your favorite
The-
thing about this whole part of the text, Geshe-la. What's he saying?
Well, I'll tell you what I was really fascinated by is how when I was in Kyoto, there was somebody selling Taiwan bubble tea. And it just kept reminding me of mixed nuts developable body. And so I kept having the that's all. If you ask me, that's what I can remember.
Okay.
Bubble.
What is it that we need to develop? What do we do to develop? That's the question.
Go to teachings.
Yay! Thank you. The seeds from Tu Samangum.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
You're trying to justify the next term. I understand.
Yay.
He's trying to motivate himself to make it through this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Come on, this is his main income, Uncle Nick. My wife asked me, "What's all this outflow from our account?" I said, I can say it in a single word.
According to the explication, what have Buddhas done to make their worlds completely pure? It's related to Tu Samangum.
Right.
If you don't have this, you don't have Tu Samangum.
Fair enough.
Well,
do we-
their kunchi disappeared because they
Yay.
did to someone gum so purely, right?
They never had one in
Yeah.
the first place. So.
Well, yeah,
Wow.
there is that.
Sorry, my mind only had. I lost it. What do Buddhas do to help us? Anybody?
Peach.
Thank you. Taught the Dharma.
Oh, okay.
I don't know it. Oh, what's completely
This homework to start out a term is not a great idea.
That's fine. I
I
have a
have
lot.
to learn this stuff.
What is completely pure in Tibetan? Have I lost everyone?
Ampar Dakpa?
Yongsadapa.
Yongsu Takpa?
You're both
Yeah.
right. It's just it says
Yeah.
Shtunapardakwa.
Oh my God. We're both right, Nate.
Yay. I'll
Okay.
send you $100 if you send me $100.
Geshe-la, I did the next paragraph.
Wow. Okay, let me read this. This is going to take a minute, okay?
Yes,
Where's the thing you play?
Oh, I said this saying what that is essentially saying.
Well, no, that just means that same book. Daini means the same book says. Okay. Daini here means the same book. Yeah.
I'm sorry, could I
I-
ask you to please read the Tibetan and then read your translation for the benefit of
Ah.
those participating?
Yeah, and in
If
the
he's
meanwhile,
gonna read the Tibetan, I better get a master translator up here. Xiaobing. Hang on, we got your critique. I watched her critiquing this Chinese guy, so I know she can do it.
okay.
Okay, don't forget your little arrow.
Okay.
Okay,
Nipani, Tenile, Sange Namki, Jangchu La, Tenne She, Jawani, Yeshi, Jima Me Ching Topa Mepa Toi, De La Sopa Tenpe Chu, Tupe Pakchaki Neyin Ki, Kunshi Nampar Shepa Ni Mayinte, Tetang Hlenchik Ni Njuk Sheso.
okay, nice. Now let me look at your translation. Secondly, when this same book says, the Buddha sees Sangye Namki, changing the family, the basis. Shijani. Yeah, you have to cut the quotation marks after ne. You see what I mean? When it says, quote, the Buddhists rely on enlightenment. You see what I mean? And this She Jawa is should have been Zhes, which shows it's a quotation mark. So he's cutting at a phrase. The phrase is having depended on enlightenment. Okay. When we say the Buddhists depend on enlightenment, what do we mean? Yeshi chima matching topa mepa so petembe chutupi bachaki neyinki. This stainless wisdom and beginningless wisdom, right?
It is beginningless. I kept going back between beginningless and.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, you can say
it's not master.
That spelling would mean ineffable, maybe.
So, okay, but it's not master sangha. It's not Tokme.
No.
Okay.
It's describing the wisdom. The wisdom is immaculate and untouchable in a way. Okay, ineffable. Okay, why does he say ineffable?
Because that's our whole discussion. That our Buddha natures are beginningless.
I'll throw something out to you that I was thinking about a lot when I was going through this part.
Okay.
We're discussing the difference between a Taiwan developable tea seed, developable seed, and then an unchanging, ineffable, inherent ancient nature, right? So we're trying. This whole section we're trying to decide how can you develop something which is unchangeable. Okay, like you're trying to activate your Buddha nature, but you can't change your Buddha nature. So how could you activate it? That's the question. How can you turn on your Buddha nature if it's unchangeable? You can't do anything to it. Okay, but the reason we're sitting in mixed nuts class suffering is that we're trying to open our Buddha nature, we're trying to activate our Buddha nature. And then there's this long debate, how can you activate something which is unchangeable? What are you talking about? And I have this insight word, and I'll ask you to think about it in the coming days, okay? At some point, he's going to say it's similar to the dichotomy between the refrigerator and the seeds in the refrigerator.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Refrigerator is kunshi, alaya vijnana, foundation consciousness. Okay, storehouse consciousness. Yeah, there's two parts to storehouse consciousness. The seeds themselves, and then the refrigerator or the container that the older seeds developed, the older seeds turned into to give the new seeds a place to stay. And somehow, I'll throw it out to the word that if you meditate about those two sets of two, right? One is Buddha nature and developable seeds. And one is seeds that are still developable and the seeds that have frozen and become the refrigerator in which the seeds are stored. There's an interesting parallel going on. Okay, I just throw it out here. Okay, Yeshi Chima mentioned Topa Mepe. Topa Mepe, Dode la Sopa Tembe Chutupi Bajaki. Anyway, Dode la Sopa Tembe Chu is talking about the teachings which are taught in the sutras, etc. Okay, and they are the object of tupa here. Okay, got it?
Oh, I see. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So bok choks, mental seeds, that are developed by listening to the sutras, okay? And then some kind of, I would say Topame beginningless, actually. Some kind of perfect wisdom, which you've always had, which I would maybe take to be your Buddha nature, okay? Ne yinki, bakchaki ne yinbe. Yinki, kunshi number shepani mayente. They say that when you become enlightened, right? There's a small list of ways you can lose your kunshi, right? Word?
Yeah. I mean, I know one.
Short list.
It's pretty short.
Well, I think one is to reach nirvana, I think. One is to become a Buddha, for example. Somehow you lose your kunshi. And there's this description of the kunshi and the seeds in the kunshi, both refrigerator and the seeds in the refrigerator are defective. Nyomon kamche. It says they're all klesha. They're all related to kleshas. Every seed in the kunshi, even for gewa, is stained. Okay, is kleshing. Okay, kunshi number shepani mayinte. Dedan slan chikni jugo. Something goes along with something else, right? And it could be that
Unstained wisdom and the teachings with those seeds.
I think you'd have to say, yeah. I don't know. I knew last term. Now I don't remember. But let's see what the commentary says, okay?
Sure.
Sometimes you have to retreat to the commentary. I think what it's saying is that if it's very pure seeds, they cannot coexist with the kunshi. Okay? They can't be contained in the kunshi, really pure seeds, because the kunshi is restricted to, even if there's good seeds in there, they are sakche, they are impure good seeds, and they're connected with non-understanding emptiness.
Okay.
You okay?
Yeah. Beautiful. Stop my share again?
Word, did you do more?
No, I just did this one.
Okay, great. I'm going to leave it for now, and I'm going to go to the new text. And this was the last piece of what we did last time, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go to the new text, and let's see if it helps understand that, and we might come back to it, okay?
Sure.
Okay, here we go. Yeah, so Xiaoping's going to help you pronounce it correctly.
No, he's helping me.
You follow it with her.
Okay.
Does Xiaoping want to read it? Do you want to read it, Xiaoping?
Oh, okay. Deyang pelwe ne den pe chotopa chutupa da bu in la den pe ne kung xiao.
Okay, but
Good.
say yin. Yin.
Huh?
Yin.
In
You're saying it Chinese. You're saying in. Do it American way. Yin.
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 Yay, good.
Amen. Stay for a while.
Oh,
So word, he's juxtaposing Pelwine and Dembene. Okay. Yeah, Pelwine means something whose condition can be increased or ripened. And then Dembene means the place where those ripened things can exist. Okay. So kunshi is called the Dembene. it's more of a location
Mm.
or a place where seeds can sit.
Mm.
But when we talk about pelwene, things that are improvable and growable, we're talking about tembe chetupa, when you listen to the teachings, okay? That's called developable. That's what he's saying, okay? Pelwa means can be increased or developed. And then he's juxtaposing that to tembene, where the emphasis is on where the seeds are resting or sitting, okay? Okay. Let's keep going and we'll come, but the 2 points are done. The parts of your mind which can be further developed and which may remain after the kunchi is destroyed. Okay, that's an interesting idea. We've reached a part called chukiku dang number 2 e luki kepa. What's that word?
Oh,
What's the difference between?
It was just in my homework. What are what are the differences between the truth body, the Dharma body, and the liberation body?
Yeah, 2 bodies. The truth body, and liberation body. What's the difference? We're going to go into that. And then why don't you read this first part? Or we'll let Xiaoping read it, and you correct it, okay? Denyi Le, you please use your cursor.
Thank you. De la chuki ku thang nam pa jo we luki kie pa ni di in te nam pa jo wa ni nyong mong pe ching pa tang je wa dam tu tat de.
Good.
Today.
What's the K part between Chukiku and number 2 Elu? What's that mean, word?
What are the differences between the truth body and the liberation body?
Yeah, if you have the Dharmakaya and the Liberation Kaya, what's the difference? And he says, when we speak about the liberation body, number 2 Ani, it's simply tsam chawa. What's that mean?
Bereft of, separate from?
Yeah, the only distinction of liberation body is that you are now free from the chingba of the nyomomas.
The chains, the shackles of the negative emotions?
Yeah, and be careful with this spa in your moba.
Oh, things involved with negative emotions?
Yeah, good. And not necessarily mental events, right?
Yep.
Okay. So always be careful with the ba after nyomo. Okay. This means klashik stuff. Nyomong means klashas. And this might include things that are not part of your mind. Okay. Like bad pizza is klashik, but not klasha. All right. All right. So he says, what's the difference between liberation body and the Dharma body or the ultimate reality body is that with the liberation body, it can simply be described. And I wonder if this te is spelled correctly. I want to check.
You think it should be an owl on it again?
Yeah. Yeah, see, it doesn't even see te. The original doesn't say te. It says se. Okay. He's trying to get something past us. Okay. This was the Tengyur says, Tengyur says some here. Okay.
Say again.
Sorry again?
Say, ta say.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is that what it said? Oh, say. Yeah, right. Sorry. You're right. Yeah. So, by the way, it makes a lot of sense. I think we should just, why did they type te?
Because the squiggly, crazy ta look like a sa.
Yeah, ta looks like in the Tibetan. Okay. All right. So the only thing that distinguishes the liberation body is simply the fact that you are freed from the shackles of mentally afflicted stuff. All right. Bernard, please read the next section. Sorry, Shopping, one more paragraph, and then we'll ask you to go finish your dinner.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
dinner.
Can John me shik luck
Chuck,
chuck chok la sok la
Joke.
great.
Says-
Okay.
luck luck chok la sok pe ching pa thang dre wa zam na du miao de lok pa dre pu zam tu ze ki de le lak pe wang chuk ki kie pa dang
Quack.
den pa
Chuck,
lak
where is that? Way back here. Okay,
Oh.
Chuck. Demba Mayan.
den pa mai
Mayan.
Mayim pa
Oh.
da wo
Okay, good. Cool. Okay. Bernard, what's that mean word?
For example,
Yeah, Trongmi means Trongkierkimi.
city folk.
Yeah, some guy in the town.
Mm.
He's been chingba with chakdoks.
He's been chained in shackles or stocks. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah. Like he did something wrong and they put shackles on him.
Mm.
And then suddenly,
He's let free.
yeah, good. And then the only result he gets from the whole process, Debut Sam, is that Dungel Lo.
The mental strain is lifted.
His suffering is put to an end, right? His suffering is stopped. Say means that's all, nothing more. Okay. And it's not as if suddenly he became very Wangchu.
Rich, powerful.
Yeah, powerful. Okay, so when we talk about the liberation body,
Mm.
we're just talking about cutting off the chains. We're not talking about going to become a super person. Okay, it's like a prisoner is been locked up in the town square in chains, and then they come and cut the chains off, and he's free, but he doesn't become special. Okay, Wang Chuki Kepa Tandemba Mayin. He's not special. And Dele Tlakpa means he doesn't immediately become endowed with some special powers that he didn't have before. He's just free.
Mm.
And that's the liberation body. What do you guess is coming out? Anticipatory translation.
how to gain the power
How to become special.
The second kind of body, which is called Dharma body,
yeah
a reality body. Then you get free and yeah, something great happens.
Mm.
You're not just not suffering anymore.
Mm.
You also get an extra bonus. Okay. All right. So, okay, Tim, you ready? Let's go. Word said he wants Tim up here. You didn't do today, right? Yet? Yeah, come on. Everybody has to suffer equally. And when the clock strikes 7:30, 8:30, you get freed from the shackles of planet. Okay. So word, Tim's gonna read slowly and clearly, and he's gonna purposely make one or two mistakes.
I'm not sure it'll be on purpose. Chuk.
Use the
Oh, I'm gonna do this too. Okay. Chuki Kuni. Nung mong pa tang she j drip pa le nam par jowa tok tang ni jik pa la Sopa. What did I not say?
You just didn't put a pre-name.
Right. Minjikpa.
So
La
Minjikpa.
sopa. Nosar ki yunten dume genpanjorpa tam cheki nejitar dupa shindu chupe rang wangchok lopate.
9. So the Chikiku word
The
draw from
from the things involved with negative emotions
and
obstacles to knowing everything.
yeah, so we say obstacles to nirvana and obstacles to omniscience, right? And number 2, but not only do you get free from the 2 kinds of obstacles, you suddenly pick up top chu,
The 10 powers
the
of a Buddha.
10 power. Yep, and suddenly you pick up Minjikpa Shi.
Fearlessnesses of a Buddha.
Yeah, etc. Motsaki Yunden.
Glorious qualities.
Yeah, Tuma.
Many of them.
You become Gemba.
Adorned.
And it's like this dropa means riches, okay? It's as if you had a treasure chest of riches, which you could chupa dupashindu.
Which you could do whatever you want with.
Yeah, and then you gain that kind of financial independence. Rang wang chok. The ultimate freedom.
Supreme attainment.
Yeah.
Not being
Yeah.
dominant.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. And then he's gonna compare it again to the guy in the town square with the shackles. Okay. So here we go. Please read, Tim. Berna.
Berna. Galpoi puching pu.
It's not a B.
Puching ba tang drama taktu chiwone wang kirwa tang
Korwa.
Korwa tang wang chu unsum sopa choktan denpa ta buo shiso.
Yeah, it's as if you had a Kalpo Pu word.
It's as if you were the son of a king or prince.
Yeah, and you suddenly lost your chain bus.
And you were suddenly freed from those shackles, those chains.
The whole country would chew on the one Korwa.
Yeah, right after that, you would be empowered. You'd be granted the throne.
Yeah, the throne. Okay. And then you would become Wanchuk Punto.
You would be perfectly rich and powerful.
Yeah. Okay. Dambatabu. Good. So it's the difference between releasing a prince from shackles and releasing a normal criminal from shackles. The prince is going to go on to sit on the throne. So that's a comparison. Who's the prince on this? What's that represent? Which body?
Chukiku, I guess the Mahayana.
Yeah,
path.
the Dharma. And then the other body is just the number 2. It's just the guy who got his shackles cut off. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's the difference between the 2 bodies. Okay. And there's the reference, okay?
Yeah.
And you can dig around for any differences that might help. Okay. Yeah, okay. Shipani, which brings us to the 4th question from above, which was Negela Penyi Mupa. Shena. Okay. Nagyur means what does it mean, word? Nagyur.
Transform.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a rare word, and I'm glad you remember it. Nagyur means complete transformation.
Yeah.
Okay. And Penyi.
Two examples.
We're going to give you 2 examples for a total transformation. Mapa. I think there should be a Kang here, okay?
Hmm.
I think there's a mistake in the carving or something. Okay, Kang. What are the two famous examples for the complete transportation? Transformation. Okay. Please read, Tim. Nang be.
Nang be pe ni. Jik ten drak pa lien ma. Chak dral ki pe ni.
Good.
Ten chula drak pe wang tu che par nun no.
Good. What's the Ngangba word?
Goose.
Yeah, the goose and who can divide the water from the milk, right? And why that's relevant is that in the beginning, this is an interesting idea, okay? In the beginning, you cannot separate your seeds from the kunshi. They are inseparable. They have to live in the kunshi. But as your liberation seeds increase, the klesha seeds inside the kunshi diminish, and they can become distinguished, okay? They can be separated. And that's what's going on with the milk and the water. So the water is your seeds for affliction, okay? The water is the seeds for affliction, and the milk is the seeds for total liberation. And as you learn more, as you go through Samgom, as you learn more, meditate more, contemplate more, then finally the two kinds of seeds start to separate from each other like water and milk. And the bad seeds, the water stays in the pot and gets destroyed with the kunshi. And the good seeds, the milk is drawn out and becomes the Buddha. It's very beautiful. Okay? So that's the meaning of the goose. That as you increase your seeds for enlightenment, the seeds for affliction are gradually diminished, and finally you can separate them. You can drink the milk and leave the water and destroy the whole refrigerator with it. Okay, interesting. Okay, because the refrigerator was made by the bad seeds, right? Okay. So Jigten Drapa Yinla. So he says, look, I gave you two examples for this process. The first example I gave you about the goose, that's a Jigten Drapa. What's that mean, word?
That's like a worldly convention or worldly metaphor or something.
Yeah, that's just the kind of metaphor you hear out on the street. Okay. And then when we talked about Chakjao, which is being, by the way, Chakjao means to be free from desire, right?
Yeah.
But if you pronounce it differently, Chakjao, it means
Free of bok chok?
free of shackles.
Oh, chok. Oh, yeah, chok.
And I think he's playing with us.
Oh,
So
okay.
Chakjao is freedom from desire. Chakjao is freedom from shackles. And the Chakjao example of being freed from the shackles was only brought up in the scriptures. Tenjuki la Jakbe Wong. Okay. That's not, nobody's gonna sit there on the street and talk about, they might talk about gooses, just separating water and milk. But if you're getting into the guy who got freed from the shackles and who was a poor guy, and then the other guy who got freed from the shackles but became king in the next day, that kind of example is just coming from the shastras, from the scriptures. That's not an example that I pulled out from the normal world. Okay.
Yeah.
So Chakjao, I think he's making a pun here. Okay. I think it's kind of cute. Okay. Keep going, Tim. Detar Chenla.
Detar Chena. Kepa kachik sakmeki sabon kun shirin dod pani. Sting.
Singpa.
Sing. I figured one of it, right? Sing par nun te lung dile chiro tu girpe chiro.
Good. You can read this word, stick to the first line.
Yeah.
Some kepas, that the sakmeki sabans are the kunshi.
Yeah. Some kepas believe or say that the
Wait, translate the word kepa.
scholars.
Yeah, some thinkers. Here we got to call them thinkers because they're thinking wrong.
Okay. Some guys think that the immaculate seeds are in the kunshi. Or
Yeah, or are part of the kunshi. Yeah. Tsingba ngun means seems to ngun here means seems to me. They're all wrapped. They're all tied up. Tsingba means like Tingba means like tumbleweed. They're like all tied up in a knot.
Isn't it also Mookie Wilson's haircut? Mookie Wilson's haircut?
Yeah, I mean, that's part of it. But Singba here means, yeah, they're all knotted up in their wrong ideas. Okay. And they have Chiro from this loom.
They have gone outside this book, this teaching.
Yeah, this very complex Mahayana Sangraha quotation, which was pages long. They are, Chiro to cure means they are outside of a Sangha's Ranglu. They don't understand what a Sangha was saying. They have departed from the scriptures, okay? Because they're all confused. Why? Because they say all seeds must reside in the kunshi. No, seeds that you have developable bulb, with or without bubble tea, those don't stay in the kunshi, and we can't call them kunshi because when you get to nirvana, you lose the kunshi. But those seeds are still there. So it's not true that all seeds have to stay in the kunshi. You have to separate them. As you develop more and more pure seeds, you start to separate them like a goose does in milk from water. Okay, cool. That's really, and if you think that all seeds have to live in the kunshi, alaya vijnana, in the refrigerator, and if the refrigerator disappeared, all the seeds would disappear. Then you don't understand the sangha. Okay? You're outside of a sangha system. Wow, I love this next sentence. Okay, go ahead, Tim. Chirpa.
Chirpa tangla Q mani shete kunshi sabunki cha tela chi chir kunshi sheja shena.
Yeah, I love this sentence. Chirpa means, as Nick knows, we talked about it once on a bus in Taiwan. Chirpa means this long detour I have taken. Dang, let's drop it. Let's give up the detour. Kyuma means back to the main topic. Kyuma means the continuation of something. So let's get back to the main topic. Let's stop this long discussion about developable seeds, whether they're in the kunshi or not. Is there a place where they leave the kunshi? Is there a place where the kunshi itself disappears? Let's go back to the main topic. And let's talk about another subject. Why do we call the saban part of the kunshi? What's that mean, Murray?
Why do we call the seed part of foundation consciousness? Why?
Yeah.
So he's talking about
So-
the thing in the refrigerator as opposed to the refrigerator.
Yeah, remember this weird thing in the mind-only school, the kunshi, or the storehouse consciousness, whatever you want to call it, has two parts. One is the refrigerator or the container, which makes sense, right? That's like a storehouse. And then the other is the seeds that live in the storehouse. Why should they be called storehouse? Okura. Yeah. In Japanese. Why do you call the seeds the storehouse? I understand that you call the pot, the mind, the skull, the refrigerator. I understand calling that storehouse, but why do you call the seeds? Why is there a seeds part of the storehouse? Why do you call those seeds part of the storehouse? Okay. They're not the storehouse, they're the goods in the storehouse. But why do they get to be called storehouse? And that's a sexy answer. I'm not going to read the root text, which we already translated in our translation, which I'm sure all of you have read, called The Golden Key. And let's go. Tim's going to read from here also. Let's go.
We just have 1 minute till recap time.
I hope somebody can recap all this.
Gee.
Well, yeah, let's go ahead. Read it fast and I'll translate it fast.
GK2 Chichir de la Kunchilam Parsheba Sheja Shena Kewa Chen Kun Nongmong Pe Chetam Che Dre Bui Nupor Ter Jorbam. Where are we?
Damn.
Deyang Gui Nupor Dedak to Jorway Cheer Kunshi Nambar Shed Ao.
I'm going to leave this sentence, but there's a very, very sexy part coming up, okay? And it's like they are the seeds are the beginning of all things, and they are the end of all things. He keeps saying that 2 or 3 times. The seeds are the beginning of all things, and they are the end of all things, okay? And you got to think about it. But it's a beautiful, beautiful section. This next section is really beautiful. Those seeds are the beginning of all things, and they are the ending of all things. And then he goes into that, okay? So, Word, you're going to try to translate this next paragraph for us? Okay? You look a little stunned. You okay? By the way, the more notes Geshe-la put in there, the more incomprehensible it is. So there we go. So I'd like you to translate this paragraph that starts with GK-do. And as you translate it, I want you to translate the bolded parts. I took the bolded parts out of the Kangyo and Tengyo, and I think he's referring to them. So I want you to translate the bolded parts, okay? Here's the first one, and here's the second one, okay? And I want you to try to translate those two. So you got 3 assignments here. This paragraph, and then the first quotation in big letters, and then the second quotation in big letters, because he claims that everything I say can be found in the Tengyo. And he doesn't tell us where. Okay, so we're going to take a shot at that. Okay. And I want you to translate this one that starts with Yangna. So 4 parts. Okay. They're not very long, but they're difficult. Okay. And so the kunshi takes us to the beginning. The kunshi takes us to the end, and the kunshi takes us to ourself. Okay? 3 koans here. Okay? The kunshi takes us to the beginning, the kunshi takes us to the end, and the kunshi takes us to ourself. Okay. Cool word. Hello? You're muted, but it sounds good.
Does,
What?
does my class end now or in 5 minutes, Nick?
Oh, 5 minutes, my mistake. There's
Oh,
time
you
for
still
me.
have some time?
Yeah, we still
Okay,
have
let's
5
go back.
minutes.
Oh, let's go to the first one. Let's go to the first one here.
Your homework may
Uh,
shift.
Let's
Sorry,
do
guys. Early morning.
let's read this one together. Did you
Yeah,
finish
yeah,
it?
we just read this one.
Okay. So, by the way, it's a very common question. What's a very common question? Word in the first line here. It's a very common question.
Why is it called kunshi?
Yeah. Why is kunshi called kunshi? Kunshi in Tibetan means the basis of all. Kun ki shi, the basis of all. In Sanskrit, alaya, alaya, that which everything hangs on. Okay, a means everything, laya means to hang, or yeah. So in Tibetan, kunshi, the foundation of all things. In Sanskrit, alaya vijnana, this the thing which all things hang on, this thing which all things refer to. Okay, alaya. Okay, so you got to know that to really appreciate this sentence. Okay, so here we are. So you got Jeje Kunshi. Why do they call it Kunshi number ship Shena? Glad you asked that question. Like we always wondered, what the hell does Kunshi mean? What's the kun in Kunshi? Is everything in Kunshi?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, not at all. Not at all. Okay. It's not the. What about Nyunyi?
Nuni is
Uh,
a function
wait.
of kunshi.
Okay. All right. Kewa Chen, all things which ever started. Okay.
Yeah.
All things which ever started and which are effed up.
Involved in
Okay. Yeah, all things which ever started and which are involved with mental afflictions, okay, negative attitudes, okay, all of them relate to it as a resulting entity.
Yeah.
Okay. Gewa Chen, all things which ever start that are messed up relate to kunshi as a result. And all things which ever caused anything else relate to kunshi as a cause. Okay.
Yep.
Kunshi is the beginning and the end of all things messed up. Kunshi, the kun in kunshi. And by the way, jorwa here, word, $100. Give me a Sanskrit word.
Yoga?
Laya. Laya. Okay? It's laya. And kun is ah. Okay? This is an old Sanskrit pun that you can't see in the Tibetan. We call it ah laya because everything lias, because ah lias on it. And it lias on them. Got it? We call it everything hanging on it because everything hangs on it and it hangs on everything else, which messed up. We call it alaya, hanging on everything, connecting to everything because it's the cause of all bad things and it hangs on all bad things. Both ways. It derives from all bad things and it results in all bad things. Therefore, it's alaya. It's kunshi. Okay. Got it? Very interesting. You can't get the pun if you don't know
That's
you see what I mean?
I do.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And by the way, his wording here, the use of his language to a sensitive ear implies he is quoting something.
Yeah.
Okay. The two parts where it depends on all bad stuff and all bad stuff depends on it. It smells like a quotation. He doesn't say it's a quotation. I went and searched the Kongyo and Tengyur and I found both of them.
wow.
Okay. Because it felt like a quotation. Okay, cool. He didn't say it's a quotation. You see what I mean? And that's the two parts you're going to translate. Okay, cool.
And that's why we need you forever, Geshe Michael.
And that's what I'm saying. That's why you have to keep feeding me, Nick. Okay.
Geshe, isn't that why
And
doesn't it say GK?
yeah. No, but that's he's quoting a quote, which is quoting two other quotes. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
You see what I mean?
yeah. Does his GK do represent? Is he saying you hear some places, right? That's what he's saying. GK.
Yeah. Why it smelled like a quote. Yeah, you could say that. Yeah. Yeah.
We're over time, fellas.
GK do means as they say, right? Yeah, that's true. But it's not, I don't believe it's a direct quotation, the whole thing. Yeah. It's a subtle reference to two other parts. All right. So word, now since I did the first half of your homework, I got to give you more homework. Translate the first quotation. Translate, these are both very brief, the second translation, which I added, I didn't have it last term here. And then I want you to translate this one that starts with young now, okay? And I want you to translate this place that it came from, all right? Okay, which happens to be a Sangha, all right? And I think that's enough homework for you. Oh, here. I want you to translate this part too. De la dirngetsik, okay? De la dirngetsik, okay? Got it?
Yep.
4 or 5 parts here. All right. We'll see you guys in the morning. Okay, Nick, any parting words?
Yeah, thank you very much, Geshe Michael, and all the mixed nuts and the translators and the tech team and everybody. And so just a quick announcement for tomorrow, in the morning, we have a class with Adam, and then first we have a class with Word, Tibetan Basics. So if you're interested, come on in, open to everyone. And then we have a class with Adam, and then special question and answer session with Mr. Sugang Shi. So hopefully you have some really tough questions to ask him already, but if you don't, Adam's class will be in the morning, come up with plenty of stuff to ask. And then we have yoga twice tomorrow. So, as part of this course, we offer online yoga to y'all, and I hope you take advantage of it. We have some amazing teachers tomorrow. Anatole will be teaching in the afternoon. I'll remind you in the morning. So thanks, and really wonderful to see you all. Thank you for coming.
Okay, cool.
Thank you,
All right.
Geshe.
Thank you.
Get some rest, everybody.
Yeah, we gotta eat the cake and then we'll take a rest.
Okay.
All right, you guys.
All right, ciao.